people would compete for those fees, and it would become competitive. So the way its design works is when the ledger first began operation, the 100 billion XRP, all that will ever exist, were sort of up for grabs. And lots of people grabbed XRP out of that system, but it just so happens that obviously, just like early miners mined, huge amounts of Bitcoin before the public knew about it or was using it, early XRP users grabbed large amounts of that pool of XRP. And so the people who developed the ledger wound up with, the vast majority of it, and then have been distributing it since then.
So now, can the Ripple network sustain other tokens other than just XRP? Or are there any plans for such?
The XRP ledger has support for what we call issued assets. They were initially used for stablecoins. It has a decentralized exchange. Amazingly, all of this was working in 2012. This was all early stuff, and most of this actually predates the creation of the company Ripple. So you can go on the ledger and you can represent things like dollars or Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then you can trade those assets in a few seconds, at this very low fee. There is a disadvantage, though, which is there has to be some counterparty. There has to be somebody who's creating that asset. So if you have dollars on the XRP ledger, there's somebody who holds the actual dollars. And if I decide to use a particular dollar asset on the XRP ledger, I'm trusting that counterparty, kind of like the way Tether works. Now, you can choose different counterparties, so we don't all have to agree on the same counterparty, but there has to be like some entity that's sort of operating that bridge. And so it's not quite as nice as having a native. It's not quite as nice as trading Ethereum on like the Ethereum blockchain, but on the Ethereum blockchain, your transaction fees will be at least $10, and your transaction times will be 10 plus minutes. Here, you're talking about a thousandth of a penny in a few seconds. So it's like anything else. There's all trade-offs.
Hi, sorry, I just had a brief computer issue. So just a question, as you said, the XRP and Ripple are very separate, and XRP is more decentralized. But in a worst case scenario in which some action by the SEC or some other regulatory action cause Ripple to have to cease operations or shut down, is there any reason for holders of XRP to be concerned about that?
I would say one reason to be concerned is just that it's hard to know what's going to happen. Like a good example is if you look at what happened when people in the Bitcoin community decided to make the block size bigger, you might have thought, well, they'll just make the block size bigger and nothing will happen and there's no reason for concern. Now, it all worked out okay, but it certainly there wasn't a lack of drama. There were controversies over how the ecosystem should respond. Should they have bigger blocks? Should they implement segregated witness? Should they fork? And the governance worked out. And the reason why I would say not to worry is because the market cap of these systems are in the billions of dollars, and there's nothing preventing people from working it out. So you have to think that people sort of acting in their own self-interest are not going to allow the ecosystem to die if there's a way to save it. In 2013, a long time ago, there was a bug in Bitcoin that caused the Bitcoin blockchain to break horribly, and it required the community to come together to fix it. Obviously, everybody who holds Bitcoin wants the system fixed, and there's no obstacle to fixing it, right? There's nothing that prevents you from. It's software. Like you can always change software, and if everybody wants to fix the system, there's no real obstacles. You think that they'll find a way.
XRP has never had an error.
Let's say in the XRP ledger ecosystem, either from the SEC actions or from other things,
fucked up.
You have to think that because there's billions of dollars at stake, that people will be able to come together enough to fix it. But that's really all that's holding these systems together. The governing bodies don't have any legal authority to control these systems. It's just people want them to work, and so it's possible for them to work, and so they find a way.
Hey, David, you brought up stablecoins before. What do you guys make of stablecoins in general and DeFi in general? And how come we're not seeing, let's say, XRP more used or used at all in DeFi as collateral, for instance?
This is actually an interesting thing for me because it's something that I struggle with a little bit, which is like the XRP ledger is fantastic for payments. It's very cheap. It's very fast. It can support foreign assets. And the question that I struggle with is that enough? If the XRP ledger is fantastic for payments, and payments are trillions of dollars, it's a massive market, is that enough? And I think you can make an argument that it's not. So the XRP ledger doesn't have any DeFi built into it. Bitcoin doesn't either. And there's disadvantages. You can't really add DeFi to the XRP ledger without making it slightly less good for payments, or possibly, depending on exactly because everything that a blockchain does adds cost.
They wrap Bitcoin and use it on DeFi. So why don't you see that with XRP? What do you suppose that's about?
Yeah, I don't know. I know there was
David
a project
Schwartz
around
can't
XRP
say
so
it,
that it could be used
but the
on
Flare network,
on the Ethereum blockchain, and that didn't
Flare
make very much progress.
network
I think part
is
of
the
it might
king
sort of be the veggie burger with bacon
of
problem, which is that
DeFi.
people love veggie burgers and people love bacon on their burgers. But
He's
the
talking
people who
about
love
veggie
the,
burgers and
burgers are not the
bacon.
people who love bacon on their burgers, and it may be a similar thing. Like there's people who love XRP and there's people who love DeFi, and there just may not be much intersection of those two.
DeFi is Flare.
I really don't know though.
Flare is the king
Hey,
of
David,
DeFi.
Jed McCaleb was your predecessor